week ago, I did a spooky review of the 1974 version of Black Christmas. Well, since today is Christmas, it seems like a good opportunity to look at the 2006 remake of the movie. Now, I'm not even going to even discuss the 2016 or 2019 version. I have not seen it. I'm not going to see it until it comes out onto home video, so maybe for next Christmas time, I'll be doing a review of that. I know there's a lot of controversy about the movie. I'm not getting into that because I haven't seen it. But what I am going to do is do a review of this 2006 review and kind of compare it and contrast it to the other one, or this 2006 remake. And so let's, first off, we'll be getting some background information on the movie. When they decided to do the remake, they got in touch with Bob Clark, who did the original 74 version of the movie, and got his blessing for the film. And in fact, he's listed as an executive producer, I believe. And he said that he had some good things to say about the movie, although I don't think he actually did any work on the movie at all. Now, the cast of the film has quite a few names that apparently are pretty big, but I'm not really familiar with those names. There are a lot of newer people. You've got a couple ladies who are known as Scream Queens, as in Katie Cassidy and Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Oliver Hudson is in the film. So there are a lot of people in it who I think people will know. But overall, the production quality, as you would guess, is a lot higher than what we got with the first one. I think the budget was considerably larger, and it kind of shows. So next we'll sort of talk about what they get right, what they got wrong, that kind of thing. Now, to compare this movie to the 74 version, let me say that, first off, one of the things I had a problem with in the 74 version was that there were all these allusions to the character of the killer, but you never really found out what they were about. There was a lot of hints of something really twisted and messed up in the character from the phone calls that were being made, but you never got to find out what that was, which felt a bit like a ripoff. Well, this film delves pretty heavily into the psyche of the character and the murderer. And, in fact, at the point of the beginning of the movie, he's a legend who is sitting in an insane asylum. And they go into his childhood and, what makes him so creepy. And it's very dark, very twisted, very brutal. And so they actually get that right, although I think maybe perhaps they go just a little overboard in how much of it they put on it. But at least that they did manage to fix from the other movie. The violence is a lot more in your face rather than sort of off screen. It wasn't completely off screen in the first film, but it was less gory and a bit less graphic. And neither way of doing it is wrong. They're just different flavors. And the other thing that the other movie did get right was you got a lot of in-depth look at a lot of the characters. In this one, the characters other than the character responsible for the killings really are just sort of almost sketches. You really don't get much about them. They're not very well developed, so that's kind of disappointing in a way. But the movie is frightening. It is dark. It is disturbing, and it will keep you going. It's certainly, they've upped the scare factor by a lot. There's a lot more killing in this movie than you actually saw in the other one. And they don't really do the ambiguous ending so much, and so those they have going for them. It just in some ways felt a little. I mean, it's a longer movie, but it almost feels rushed in some ways. and the use of cell phones, which obviously wasn't a thing in '74, but is in 2006, is used for a couple of the scares and to add a little depth of creepiness to it. And I will say that one of the things I liked about the first movie was how they juxtaposed Christmas music with the horrifying things happening. Well, in this one, they get that even more right. And so it is downright creepy in the way they do that. I mean, I highly recommend the movie. It's a good slasher film. It's nothing exceptional. It's sort of run of the mill brutal slasher, but the whole Christmas angle to it is an interesting thing. I'd say watch the '74 version first so you can get an idea of the legacy behind the movie, because I think that's kind of important to appreciate it too. But I wouldn't really necessarily rate one of the movies above the other. They both have things that they got right, and they both have things that I wish they'd done a little differently. And almost the two of them together would make an exceptional horror film if you could find a way to sort of mash them up, but I don't see that happening. But in any event, it's a great way to celebrate your Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone. Spooky Ventures is the home for spooky content and spooky merchandise on the web. Check it out today at spookyventures.com. And remember, always keep it spooky.